trying this out. Of course, video's a little funky. Let's see here. See if that works. Well, we're getting closer. Hold on. You know, for all the work I do on setting up these lives, every single time there are parts of it that have to be set up as soon as you walk in, which is a little bit annoying. Let's see here. So there's like a couple of last minute things I always got to do. Let's see. Will you be cooperative? Nope. How about now? A little bit more. I can see you guys typing. I'm going to be up there in a second. It's just up in a corner. Is it working? Okay. Nope. Alright. Let's see here. And maybe. How you doing, Betharoni, Crispus? We got Betharoni, Crispus, and Frog in my. You guys were in fast. Slot car set I haven't put together in a year. Oh, one of those. Okay, I remember now. I remember them. I don't remember how to put them together. That's yeah. Those are. I'm surprised that anybody is still playing with slot car sets. Is anybody still playing with slot? Can't even say it. Slot car sets, or are they just leftovers from? Are they Gen X or millennial leftovers that we're just still playing with because we are? I don't know. So I am trying out yet a new feature, everybody, and once again, you are my guinea pigs. Well, one thing that doesn't seem to be working. Oh, I bet if I do maybe this. Might work. Let's see. It's always a wrestling match with this thing. Your son is 9, he loves it. All right, well, I'm glad kids are still playing with him. Thank you, Breakers. And unfortunately, I have to apologize. I don't have Obicam set up right now because he is downstairs. He is not on my feet for once. You almost always, if I sit down, he's usually here, and it might just be that I had the door closed. He's probably sitting right outside, but actually, he might be outside. You know what? I'll bet you he's out front right now. I bet you he's out front. Normally, though, when you hit puppy kisses, it goes straight into Obicam automatically and shows you Obi. But he's just not on my feet right now. And so I don't have his camera hooked up. I was playing with this thing, so I have this idea. You're gonna riot. I'm sorry, Froggy. I have this idea that I've been playing with, since I've been toying with. If anybody saw the other night, where I was kind of moving back and forth between here and the whiteboard, and there I think is a way to have it sort of walk with me and track me. Did I see what's happening at Brown? No, I didn't. Fill me in. Your dog just lays in front of closed doors. That's funny. Mine lays in the strangest places. Bathtubs and showers. Bathtubs and showers throughout the house. If he's just gone, we walk around and check all the bathtubs. He could very well be there. Oh. Ugh. I don't even know. As soon as you said something happened at Brown, I don't know why I didn't gear up for the worst. That is terrible news. I don't know how else to respond to that. Oh, happy Saturday. 7 in the shower and 7 in the hallway. Dogs, I hope. Not the thing that happened at Brown. Hi, Marty. How you doing? Yeah, so I thought it would be cool if I'm getting a little bit close. I'm playing with these little toys and things. I don't want to get too wrapped up in the tech over substance, but I want to make the tech work for the substance, because the substance can get bogged down and can be it's really hard to teach some of this stuff because of how difficult it is to, hey Harambe, how's it going, to be moving. So so if I could find ways to automate some of these things, it would make it actually a lot easier for me to teach it. And so I'm trying to see if I can get the tech to work so that I can do it. Crispus, I will recommend that you Google it, because I think if I say it, I'm probably going to get dinged, and it is not great news. Hey Infinity, how you doing? And 17 dogs. So Daddy of Charlotte and the Mouse. When I was younger, I used to spend a lot of time on a farm. I spent all my weekends pretty much on this farm where I used to build fence all weekends. A long story, but and they had, I want to say, 12 or 13 dogs, and it was just a ton of dogs, and so there always just dogs everywhere. It was great. I can never get enough dogs. And thank you very much, Infinity. I appreciate it. Yeah. So one of the things, I have a question for you guys. So one of the things that I like, although it is not working right now, and I'm very annoyed because I got it to work. It was working just a little bit ago in my trial run. Is that for the folks who are over on YouTube? I've got this little thing set up so that they should be able to see all of the chat from TikTok, because there tend to be more people over on TikTok, and I thought it would be nice to sort of see what's going on and kind of keep up on the chat. I would do the same for TikTok, but there's not really a place for me to put it where you'd be able to see it, and so much of the screen is already taken over by chat. But I still was thinking about it anyway, seeing if I could come up with a way to do it that would work. Can we collectively sue the EPA for taking CO2 off the list? Not exactly, but the attorneys general of your state might be able to, might have a little bit more power there. Let's see here. Yeah, you're not. I'm sorry, Secretary Secret Asian Dan. Whenever I see your name, I always think it's a Secret Asian Dan, which is such a great name, and I always misread it. You're not. See, what you'll see if you look really close is there's a little tiny thing right there, which is a vestige of the chatbot not working. It's not sending the thing over. I'm going to try it. I don't know. See, I can't leave. If I try to change the scene, you're going to all disappear. Well, you know what? Screw it. We're not watching the Supreme Court today. Why not? I want to see if I can fix it real fast, guys. Let's see if I can. Well, first, let's see if it's working in here. I'm just going to say real fast. Oh, you know what might be really helpful? Is if I do that. Let's see if that works. I am using OBS, yes. And so for those of you who don't know, OBS is a very, very powerful system, but also very kind of basic and able to be manipulated system that allows you to stream stuff, there we go, over to YouTube, TikTok, wherever. And so what I have right now in front of me are two screens, one that's in the shape of a YouTube screen, one that's in the shape of a TikTok screen, and I can put things on them and lay them out however I want, and that is how I'm able to do things like bring in the audio from the Supreme Court and bring in all of that other stuff so that you can hear it, and then combine it all on these screens and then forward it over to TikTok, YouTube, and eventually probably some other places. I haven't gotten it working well enough yet that I'm happy. But in its, like, on the one hand it's super complicated, and on the other hand it's super simple, and that combination is weird. So it is a little bit hard to figure out. And there are so many little bits and pieces to it. I'm streaming directly to both from one OBS instance. Yeah, which took me a lot of trial and error. I'm also, thanks to something new on the tubes today, I am now I was sort of able to do this, but now I'm able to do it theoretically much easier. They are now splitting my tube feed into a big one and a little one for two of their different feeds. So, I don't know. A restreaming service. I tried a couple, and they ended up causing more trouble than they were worth. Because particularly what I was trying to do, one of the things I really want to be able to do, being here in Washington, something that I really liked doing, and I was doing a lot for a while, particularly while it was warmer, is going out and live streaming events, and even just what was going on. Like, I went down several times to what was happening at Union Station and just let you guys see. Because you're not, people who aren't here, I want you to be able to see it with your own eyes and not have to see everything through the news. But I'm trying to find a way to do that so that everybody could see it, not just TikTok, not just YouTube, try to get it to everybody at one time and do both the landscape and the portrait, and do all of that stuff. This was before I'd quite figured out how OBS worked, so I was just trying to figure it all out, and scale up the text but not the box. I will play with that. I don't know if I can do that right now, but I will play with it. I think I'll tell you about the fridge in a second, but and I ended up trying to use one of those services, I tried actually a couple, Restream and a couple other ones, and the problem was that they automatically cut the video quality so low because they have deals with the cell phone companies that if they're going to allow them to use bandwidth, that they will keep it minimal. And so they would automatically just make it just look terrible, and I was like, this isn't worth it. So I'm trying to make it, I'm hoping before spring that I'll have something better so that I can go out and make good live things for you guys to see. I have not covered Barrett's book yet because I'm still reading it. I'll tell you what I've come across so far. One thing, because I've sort of skipped around a little bit, just because I wanted to read it so badly, and yet I really am kind of constantly, there's always something that I have to read by the next day. And so I'm kind of constantly trying to find little bits of time to read something. Net neutrality, kind of, yeah. But a couple of things. There's a whole chapter in there sort of on how the justices get along. And on the one hand, I couldn't tell whether she was trying to make it sound better than it was. It makes it sound very, very nice. Also, tries not to call anybody out and says that. Like she says, like when I first arrived, I had no idea what was going on. I was new to this city. I knew nothing, and people were super, super nice to me and helped me out a lot. And I don't think it's fair to start calling them out for being nice, because you never know how people are going to respond to that. So I'm not going to say too much about exactly what happened or something like that, which I don't know what that means, but all right. And then the whole rest of the chapter is mostly historical stories about other Supreme Court justices getting along really well or not getting along really well. And so I was sort of trying to read between the lines. And so part of what I got in there as I was reading it was, I don't think she would have included some of these stories of people really not getting along unless there are some people in there who she really does not get along with. And then kind of picking out the little bits and pieces that I was able to get. What I managed to gather, I managed to gather just enough little pieces that were nice stories about people that I think she is really good friends with Sotomayor, Gorsuch, Jackson. I think Jackson and her husband are like really close. Because they're Jackson's husband and her husband rather are really close because they're the two husbands that hang out together. Kavanaugh, and I think that's it. I think I got the impression that those were like her favorites, which I thought was an interesting mix. She makes absolutely no mention of Alito, Thomas, Roberts. They're crickets in that chapter. So I just, reading between the lines, maybe it means nothing, but she specifically mentioned, like when she was like, I don't want to call out how, people being nice about stuff, but I really have to say that Sotomayor showed up with a bunch of candy for my kids on Halloween the day that I arrived, and I thought it was so nice. Hey, Carria. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. Yeah, so I think she's turning into she was a professor at Notre Dame. Like, she's clearly a smart lady. So anyway, I think it's going to be an interesting book. I did want to answer, somebody asked about the fridge. So here's where I am right now. I was optimistic that we just hadn't left it alone long enough, and then I can't, because I'd been working on it for like 48 hours, and we'd taken this thing apart. And this morning when I came down, and I'd left a bowl of water in there, and I took a thermometer to it before bed, and I came back this morning, and it was exactly the same temperature. I was like, okay. So I ordered some parts for a couple of parts that are like thermostat type things. The document was the book, the Barrett book, the Coney Barrett new book she just came out with. So there's like a thermostat that turns the temperature up and down, and there's something called a like defroster meter, something or other, that turns another thing on and off, and they both look a little cruddy, and they were each about $14, and I thought, you know what, this is probably a good investment to get here right now, rather than spending a bunch of money. Oh, are you kidding? I never missed refrigerator repair class in law school. I just don't have a sweat welder. So those things come tomorrow. We're gonna install them, give the thing a couple of hours, see if that makes a difference. There's one more thing that it might be, which is that it might have a leak and it may be low on refrigerant. Problem is, I don't really have the equipment I can get new refrigerant into it, but I don't have a good system for resealing the system once I add the refrigerant. So it's going to leak back out over time. Probably a good, 6 months. That is probably, another $100, $80 all told. And I'm debating whether that's good money after bad. So that's where I am right now, is trying to decide whether to throw a little bit more money into it before moving on. And because I hate to throw away a refrigerator that can be repaired. And the one thing that I do know is that the compressor, which is the thing that goes on these things that dies every time, is still running and seems to be running beautifully. So the refrigerant toxin, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to drink it or anything. You got a thing and you attach it and you mount it down and everything and seal it on there and whatever, and then add it in there. It's just that you're never going to get the seal perfect without a sweat welder and all of that stuff, and I don't have it. So there's like a seal it yourself system, but it's just not going to be that good. So, and I just can't afford a professional right now, and I can't afford a new refrigerator either. So, but I decided that I was gonna take a risk and do what I'm doing here for a while instead of being a fancy lawyer. So this is what you get. Let's see here. Yeah, the leak is not a great. I did ask a friend of mine whether it's, having it leak out a little bit is not good. It's not the same old stuff. We're not talking about the what's the stuff that they used to have that they don't use anymore. It's not the old refrigerant. It's not, you don't want to drink it, but I don't think the leak is quite as toxic as Freon. There we go. That's why they don't use Freon anymore. Now, the flip side is that when you put it in there, it takes forever that's why it takes 24 hours for a refrigerator to get cold now. That's right. Oh, thank you. Let me see here. So anyway, which reminds me, not really, but I did, so attempt number 2 at a duck hat. So this is duck hat number 1, which I couldn't quite get on the head. But I thought, well, maybe I'll just glue it and send it. The problem is, you send it and it's going to be knocked off by the time it gets there. There's just no way to send it. So that was one thing. And so I made one a little bit bigger, and so we're going to have to find a middle ground. I really like this theory, though. I find this really adorable. Oh, good. Okay, you got it to work. That's good. Hey, Harumbi's back. So, but that's why part of why when I said yesterday that I had bills to pay, that is what I was I had the bill. I did have bills to pay, but I was like, I think my refrigerator is about to break, and if my refrigerator is about to break, I am not going to be able to afford anything, and I was starting to get very, very nervous, which is why I got this morning I was in a full-on panic this morning. This is bad. Feel a little bit better now because I'll figure something out. But I think that something, I find something used if nothing else, but it's just it's a bad feeling. You don't like that feeling. But I did, I felt a little bit better after yesterday, and people did come in and buy a few things, which was awesome. I sent some things off, and I have some more to send off today. I'm going to send that off in a little bit. I have to get them in the mail before tomorrow. So thank you, everybody. And so a couple people bought Morning Report t-shirts and mugs and glasses. Woo! So thank you all. I appreciate it. Duck hat would make a tabletop goose hat. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I just have to get them exactly the right size. So what you basically do, you're just going around in a circle, and then kind of, instead of just hooking one into the next one, you cram two in, and so it just gets wider and wider. But guessing whether you're gonna, how much bigger it's gonna get until it's done is it's just a total guessing game. For me, it's a guessing game. People who know what they're doing, I'm sure, know how to do this and make it work. But I'm sorry, how cool! I can't believe that looks that cool. I just wish it was a tiny bit smaller so it would sit on his head. That made my day. Also, the front of my house looks really cool because while I've been upstairs working, my house has been getting decorated and it looks great. Also, somebody, and I have to find out the person's name. Hold on. Did the Supreme Court ever make a ruling on tariffs? No, not yet. So generally, the things that we hear that they're talking about right now, we wouldn't hear until June. I have a feeling with that we might hear it a little earlier, but I wouldn't expect it too much earlier. So one of the did they ever address the recent First Amendment case? Are we talking about the guy who was arrested for the preacher, Harambe? Yeah. So the lower courts did actually go through that. They went through the whole thing, and they did do time, place, and manner. The point was that by now, I don't think it was time, place, and manner. Or something like it was more of that case was more about whether or not it was properly allowed to be heard, and not whether or not it was a First Amendment case, because they weren't there yet. Is there a technical term for a filed complaint that is so airtight there is no room for a counterargument? Yes, there is. I would say that's probably a summary judgment. So that's when you make a motion for summary judgment, what you are saying is that based on the information in front of you right now, you don't have any option but to find in our favor, and you should agree with that point. You don't need to ask any more questions. You don't need anything else. You have all the information you need in front of you, and you should be able to decide that right now. Your dog is carrying it. Oh, okay. Duck dog toy. I wish, so this is, I've been trying to find a way to see if I could get TikTok to remove the part at the bottom of the screen with the chat and replace it with the chat that I have over in that they're watching currently in YouTube. And then I could combine both of you into one, and we could all watch the same chat feed. I'm sure that they probably don't want that. That might be why I didn't think of that. But it would be really convenient. A lawyer said that some cases were so similar, all you have to do is change the names. Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and so that's the deal. So when there's two sides and there's a summary judgment motion, one of them says, "Hey, oh, thank you very much, Jason. I appreciate it." One of them will say, motion for summary judgment. You have everything you need because look at case XYZ, where they had exactly these same things and they decided this way. Okay? So you have to decide the same way because this is exactly the same thing. Okay? The other side will argue, no. This is not the same thing, and that's not the same thing, and that's not the same thing. These are all totally different things, so no, you don't decide the same way. Either we think you have enough information to decide the other way, or you don't have enough information and you need to, we need to have a trial. So that's kind of the two sides of a summary judgment argument. And, Lucky Lancelot, you're very much allowed to. I think that, I do think that one of my goals is to try to get people to at least realize to some extent that a lot of the decisions are a little bit less ideological than they think, or that the ideologies are more judicial in nature than they think. But that said, once you get there, then you can start saying, but I don't like their judicial ideology, which is perfectly fine. I really disagree with a lot of their judicial ideologies. So, but I think it's often, even when I have trouble believing it, which happens, I try to remember as much as possible that some of the time anyway, that it is often more about a judicial ideology than a political ideology, but the two can be very, very similar and very hard to tell apart. Sometimes they are so similar and so tightly intertwined that it's almost irrelevant that they're different. Can a motion for summary judgment be filed immediately after the complaint? Yeah. Yeah. Just like, one of the things we saw a ton this past summer and fall would be, we'd see a complaint filed immediately by a motion to dismiss, which is the opposite of a summary judgment, really. It says, based on what you have in front of you, you can already dismiss this case. So it's just the opposite. It could be failure to state a claim. That's 12b-6, but there's multiple reasons you could request a motion to dismiss. So, there could be 12b1, 12b. There's, lack of summary judgment, but failure to state a claim is essentially a summary judgment in the other. It means you have enough information in front of you to know that there is no claim here. So it's sort of the flip side of that. Let's see here. Oh, thank you very much, Beth. I have an idea about what to do with Discord. I think I'm going to make, it's on my list. Everything, I have so many things on my list. Oh, and that's something that I was about to say. Whenever I get something from I have an Amazon wish list, and whenever I get something from there, it comes with a little card that says who gave it to me. And for a long time, I was really good about thanking everybody when they came in. Downstairs, my partner is building me a book of all of these. He cut them all out and pasted them all into a book because they're very, very nice, and he thought it would be very nice for me to have these. And so they're all getting saved in this book. But the problem is that means that as soon as they walk in the door, they get snatched away so that they can get put in the book, because otherwise they get lost, which is correct. They get lost in this room. So I may just for a moment get the name, and then the card disappears. It's going to be really cool having this book. It's going to be very nice. But somebody just sent me. So I had a really nice ukulele in Samoa. It's still there. And so I bought this mostly as a joke because this is like a child's ukulele, it doesn't really play. But then somebody sent me this the other day, and so I have to get back into playing it because I'm very much out of practice. But I keep wanting to thank the person who sent it to me, and I cannot. I got to figure out which card is attached to which thing. I think they're all downstairs. He's got them all organized, and he's pasting them all into this book. But I keep wanting to do that. So let's see here. Froggy, it's just a matter of, I'm just trying to remember everything, and stay on top of everything. So I'm thinking I just want to make sure that I set something up, and then for a long time there was nobody in there, and that's part of the problem. Is I set it up and then there was not a soul in there for a long time, and so I kind of forgot about it, and now I know there are people in there, and I just forget to go do it, and I just feel bad that I haven't gone in and done anything. So that's the only thing. That's the only problem, is I just want to make sure that I go in there every once in a while and say hi, because that's terrible. So that's yet another thing on my list. How are you, Gerardo? So summary judgment happens as part of the argument. It can happen anytime in the trial, though. I mean, if you feel like you have enough, you can move for summary judgment. You're not going to win right off the bat, but I think you can move for summary judgment relatively early. If I'd have to look again. It's what, rule 8? No, I don't remember. Whatever, doesn't really matter. I'll look it up. There is a Discord. Yes, there's absolutely Discord. I set it up at some point, and then there was just not a soul in there. And then I've abandoned you, Discord. It's turned to anarchy. I'm so sorry. I was really excited. I went through and I set up all these different channels to do different things, and then I was in there like every day for a month, and nobody joined it, and then I just sort of forgot about it. And that was also before the morning report. And let me tell you, my life, the morning report was supposed to be something that was going to make my life easier and less hectic. And that has not been the way things have gone. It has turned into a behemoth of a hamster wheel. And I'm really glad I did it, and I love the way it's come out. I think I'm very happy with it, but it's just, it never ends. Speaking of, okay, so I was really very, very excited because there were going to be hearings on Monday and Tuesday that I was going to go to. It looks like the hearings that I was planning to go to have been canceled, but new hearings have been started, which now I'm probably going to go to those instead. So either way, there are probably going to be some cool hearings that I'm going to go to and report on Monday or Tuesday. Originally, it was going to be, Betharoni. I don't know how you, well, I think you should be able to find it. If you go to my my link tree, you should be able to find it, if nothing else. Auto-modded? Oh, what does that mean? Uh-oh. Hold on. I'll, all right. Sorry. Okay. I'll deal with that in a little bit. Okay. So, oh, I'm so sorry you're feeling sick. That sucks. Okay. So on Monday there were going to be and Tuesday there were going to be the hearings in Boasberg's chamber on the contempt hearings. That was going to be really cool. And at 9:30 in the morning, I was going to be there early to make sure I got in the door. And then I think they have gotten stayed. We'll see. But the other one, which is, I think, going to be pretty interesting, even though it's a little bit less dramatic, is a motion to stop building the new East Wing ballroom, which is going to be on Tuesday, I think. So I'm just going to go down, and it's kind of crazy that you can just sort of walk in and be the only one, be the person there and listen. So that's my plan for next week. But I am a little bit sad that I didn't make it for the, or I'm hoping that maybe they won't cancel it, but that I was really excited to go see that hearing on the motion on the contempt hearing. I will also download Discord again. That was also part of the problem. Is I joined a Discord that I kind of had to be a member of for some stupid reason, and it used to get so many messages every day, so many messages, and I just got sick of listening to them. The case against Trump painting the OEO. No, I think based on what the judge said, I think that it's probably going to get stopped. Or at least they're going to move the case forward. The problem is they can't join the president directly, and the GSA has not technically said they're going to do anything yet. But I do have a Discord, Miss Haza. If I just, like I said, I haven't done much with it because, and Froggy, who's over in the tubes right now, says he goes in there. But it's if you can find it on my link tree, the link in my bio. I forget that it's there. Oh, and that's the thing, is that I get so many messages from this other Discord that I'm in, like constantly, that I finally turned off the notifications for Discord in general because they were going off like 25 times a day. And can you mute some of them? Okay. Well, that would be much easier. I didn't know I could mute some of them. Hey, Liz. Yeah. You know, I used to be very good with technology. It's amazing how quickly that old age just sneaks right up on you. Yeah. So I really like the way I did a little bit of repair on this on the way that this YouTube chat looks. I can see it's a little hard to read, so I'll try to change the size of the font, but it looks way better than it did yesterday, so that's good. I really do wish there was room for it somewhere on that TikTok feed, because I would love you guys to be able to see each other at the same time. I think it would be nice. And I, at some point, might want to expand into some other streaming services, but does anybody... So, you know, there are people who stream on things like Twitch, Kick, Instagram, I don't know, Facebook. Are there human beings who stream on, say, Twitch that do anything that's not like video games, that do anything like what I do? Or if I were to add, say, a Twitch stream, is that just going to get crickets? I always had the idea that if I did that, nobody would ever, like, that's just not the place for me, but I don't know. I don't know why I think that. Maybe I'm wrong. It's mostly gaming. That's what I thought. Okay. If I can get to a point where using OBS and stuff, it's relatively easy, and all I have to do is add an extra name and hit click, cool. But at the moment, I'm not quite there yet. So everything I add at the moment is a lot of hoops. A more perfect podcast. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. I'll look. Actually, I'll write that down so I don't forget, because... and it reminds me, if anybody's in here who got... okay. There is some politics stuff, even philosophy. All right, maybe I'll, point rewards and stuff. Okay, yeah. Okay. Then I'll play with it. I'm building and learning and all that. So it's a slow process. But I wanted to see... Oh, thank you, guys. I just saw that you sent me stuff, so thank you very much. Epos Fox. Okay. Today was my my learn OBS day. So Today it was learn OBS and pack things to be mailed out, and then tomorrow will be read law and prepare the week for. It's a little weird, and I'm not going to have any more Supreme Court cases until January, and then what? I'm looking at. I got the new schedule up, so got a couple of weeks. Things are a little bit quiet. It's kind of a strange feeling. Scope creep for games. Okay. Well, and I left Instagram. I didn't leave Instagram. I just stopped. And the job search. I've been doing this, and this takes up kind of every part of every day. I did apply for a job and went through the whole interview process and didn't get it. It's a general counsel position with a nonprofit, which would have been pretty cool, but didn't get it. So, and I also, I part of it, I kind of sold them on doing this as well. So I don't want to leave this, but at the same time, I also hate freaking out every time the refrigerator breaks. I have a weird feeling that at some point this won't, somebody's gonna all I need to do is get called on CNN or MSNBC one time, and I think I'll start at least making enough money on the side to survive. But just waiting it out. Somebody's going to swoop in. And I don't want to, I also want to be careful because I don't want to lose my objectivity. That is annoyingly important to me, which is, yeah, I heard it. So, all right, guys. Well, I wanted to come in and see how this dual. So one of the things that you guys don't know has been going on this whole time is that for the first time ever, YouTube has been splitting my big video into two pieces and broadcasting it as two, but it also kind of automatically chose where they were going to be, which is kind of weird because it cut it like right here. But I wanted to see what it would look like and how it would come out, so this was my practice try with that. What work do I do? I'm an attorney, but I have not been doing that for a while because I've been doing this. I decided that I wanted to do this. So I was an assistant attorney general for a while, and this just felt like something that needed to get done. So that's what I've been doing. But okay. So I'm gonna clock back out. I just wanted to check in with you guys, and thank you very much, Ted. I appreciate it. If anybody wants to check my my links, I would appreciate it. If you're not following me over on the tubes, follow me on the tubes or on the stacks or anything like that. I think I agree with you, Jennifer. So, but I really very much appreciate it, and I'll probably be back sometime else soon. So thank you all very much, and thank you very much, thank you very much. Very nice. All right, guys. See y'all later. Gotta figure out the fast way to do this.